Hello, welcome to JavaScript Fundamentals tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to get the value of a checked radio button. So, in other words, I will be showing you how to use JavaScript to retrieve the value that is selected whenever you check a radio button. So, basically, let's first of all look at our code on the browser and see what it looks like. So this is our code. As you can see, the idea here is that anytime I click on this, based on the selection, it should display each of the selections. So let me remind you again how to navigate to the console. So you click this menu button. I'm using Firefox. Okay, so you click this button and you go to More Tools and Web Developer Tools. There you go. You can see you are in the console. So if I should select Cat, for instance, and click Show Selection, I'm going to see nothing meaningful. So it means that, as you can see, that the function that I have defined on this particular button is not defined. So I need to actually implement the button, the logic of this button in the JavaScript. So to do so, let me walk you through a couple of things. First of all is in our code. When we navigate to the HTML code, you will see the layout of things, and I need you to take note of what is going on here. Okay, so I have set like 3 buttons, radio buttons, and each of this button has the attribute name as pet, so they all have the same attribute. Now this is very important because if, for instance, I give them different names like pet1, pet2, pet3, now I need you to take note of what happens when I interact with the browser. Let's look at the browser to interact, and you are going to see that I can select cat, I can select dog, and I can select parrot at the same time. So this is not logical. It doesn't make sense. So the idea of using a text box, a radio button, is that anytime you make any selection, it remains only a single selection at a time. So if I should select cat and come to select dog, then dog will be selected and every other buttons will be unchecked. So to do this, that is why it's necessary that you must give the same name to all the radio buttons. So if I revert back to the name, then everything seems okay. Let's confirm it now one more time. And here, if I select dog, it deselects every other option and only dog is selected. So one selection at a time. This is very important. Just take note of that. Okay? Always take note of that. That all the options must have the same name. Okay? Alright. So I have also included the values. It means that this particular option, to link it up with the text, the actual thing showing as a label, then I have included the values. So this is the value that I should be accessing each time I'm making a selection on this input. Okay, so this is cat, this is dog, this is parrot. Right, now let's implement the logic. I have included a button here whereby when you click this button, it should show whatever selection you have made or whatever button you have checked. So let's go to JavaScript to implement the logic of this function. So I will start by defining a function, show pet, and as always, I always like to confirm that my button is synchronized. So I will type in just a random message, hello, and save. So when we get to our browser, we should see something anytime we click the show. So that means my button is working perfectly well. Let me implement now the actual logic. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start off by, first of all, accessing these elements. You can see we have 3 buttons. So it means that I have 3 things to access at the same time. So I'm going to access this element by using the name attribute. Alright, because this is what they have in common, the name attribute. Alright, so they have the name pet. Alright, so here I will make it pets as the constant equals document dot get element, sorry, I didn't mean by ID, get element by name. Get elements by name, then you can type the name here, pet. So the name is pet, right? So just to work on this, let me console the size of this pet. So this should be about length of 3 because we have 3 radio buttons. So let's confirm this to check that everything works perfectly well. Alright, so when I click show, you can see that it is consoling 3. So 3 is very important that we take note of it as the number of elements. So we are going to actually use a loop to manipulate things here. So what I need to do is that I'm going to loop through all the elements, or the 3 elements, by starting off as for let I equals 0. It means that it is 0 index, it should start from 0, and I is less than pets dot length. That means the length of pet is 3, so I should be less than 3. Okay, because if we have 3 elements, it means that the largest index is 2. Since the index value starts from 0, then 0 is the first one, 1 is the second one, 2 is the third one. So it has to be less than the 3, which is the actual size. Then I will increment and make some kind of logic. So here now, if the pets, a given pet, which is any one that is selected, the current one. How do I know the current one? It's going to be pets, square bracket opens, and you put in the index, whatever index that has been selected. So how do you know that this has been selected? There is to every index that is selected, to every particular button that is selected, it usually has an attribute called checked. So this is an option out of the 3 options. So we are starting from the first option, the 0 option. We are going to say if the first option is selected, do something. So how do we know whether it's selected? By saying if we have the checked attribute there, right? Then what should we do? We console.log the pet of that index, but again we console the value. just a similar thing to what we did when we were making use of, when we learned how to access values of a select box. So a drop down box, so to say. So here I have actually completed the typing of my code. Let's check to see what happens in the browser. So if we check here, I'm going to refresh again, and I have everything cleared up. When I check cat, I should be able to see cat in the console. If I check parrot, I should be able to see parrot. And of course, if I check dog, I should be able to see dog. So this is how to use JavaScript to access the value of a radio button. I hope this helps you to understand better now how you can use JavaScript to manipulate some of the form elements, including radio button. So see you in our next tutorial, and in our next tutorial I'm going to dive into more form elements, and I hope you stay tuned. And if you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe so that you will get notified the moment the video drops. Alright, so for now, see you in my next tutorial. Bye.